LinkedIn, HubSpot community. It's Liam Redding. It's been a while since I've done a video here, so I've been telling myself coming off of inbound, like I really need to start producing more content, especially video. It's something I've slowed down on. Got some great inspiration, some great feedback and tips from some of the people in my community. Shout out to Jonathan Stevens. Huge advice that Jonathan provided me that unlocked some thought leadership potential. So I'm looking forward to getting back into some video and maybe I'll make it like a late night series. Right now it's almost midnight and it's really hard for me right now to fit like the idea of doing video in. So it's kind of got to be something I fit in like, I guess at night. So maybe that'll become a thing. But the thing I've kind of been like talking a lot about on LinkedIn and I've been like, kind of foreshadowing it, but I actually haven't gotten on and done any real tangible thought leadership around it is AI and like using ChatGPT. I know a lot of people are talking about using it to custom code, but it actually is really simple. While it can take a while, like depending on the complexity of the use case, like sometimes it can take you many rounds of trial and error. I've gone through like hundreds of rounds of like, here's the error log that I received, ChatGPT, like, I don't know what this means. Here's the code you gave me, like help figure out how to fix this based on the log that was responded as an error. So there's quick implementations and there's ones that take a little bit longer. I'm actually just like going to kind of start from scratch and hopefully in the next 10 minutes, it doesn't take too long to figure out how to do this. But I'm going to try to record a video kind of on the fly showing you guys how I would use ChatGPT to code solutions. One of the things I'm going to be going over today is Zapier. Zapier. Zapier is something that I really actually have started using a lot recently in terms of using it for the custom code implementation. There's times where I'm like banging my head against a HubSpot custom code action, and then I go into Zapier, and I just find that it's easier in there. One other thing that I like about it, there's some AI that's built into it where you can prompt it to write, and then also there's like an AI feedback. So if you're getting error logs, you can ask the AI what's going on with it. And one of the things that I like is that I'm coding with ChatGPT. So, ChatGPT has context about what we're talking about because I've given it the use case. It's providing me the code. We've gone through like a couple rounds of here's the error logs, and it makes adjustments to it. One of the cool things about using Zapier's AI is that it'll give you feedback. So the AI will look at what the error log is, it'll look at the code, and it'll tell you feedback. So I can go to ChatGPT and I can tell it, hey, here's the error log, here's what Zap AI said about it. And then I'll give it the context of the other AI. And there's like two AI systems talking to each other, trying to figure out the problem with me, kind of like as the middleman in between. In this example, again, one of the other things that I really like about Zapier, however you say it, is that it's available to everybody. So like not everybody has access to the custom code, but everybody can access Zapier, and it's kind of the same idea, right? Like the things that you can implement in a code solution in Zapier are the same kind of principles that you would use in a custom coded workflow. So kind of serves both audiences. In this example, we're going to be going over, I'll show you really quick. If we were to try to create a workflow, and we're going to make it a deal-based workflow. And let's say when the deal reaches close one, we want it to update the payment dates for when we're going to be collecting payments for this deal. And let's make that, the number of payments that they owe us. And then every 30 days from this point on, like on that day of the month. So let's say it starts on the 20th, on October 20th of next month, that's when the next payment needs to be collected. Well, one of the things you'll notice in HubSpot, if you try to just do that through the actions that are available, you can set a property value. You can you can kind of set it by two. You can either copy a property value over from something else, or you can use a static date, or you can use the date of the step. So you can either date stamp it as like when it went through the action, or you can just use a static date. You can't say, I want to add 30 days from now to get 30 days in the future so that it can calculate X number of days from now. So you can populate dates in the future. There's no ability to do that in HubSpot. The other thing about that is there's nuance to months, right? Like a month might have more than 30 days. It might be a leap year. There might be 28 days. So if it's trying to do a calculation where it's populating future dates, you also need to have code that's intelligent enough to take that into consideration. And that wouldn't be possible really through this action. So you need to accomplish that through custom code. And how we would do that, we're going to start with this Zap, and it's triggered by HubSpot. So the trigger is that the deal stage is updated, so it's moved to closed won. And then you can choose additional properties to retrieve. We are going to retrieve number of payments, and then we would already have the close date. So the close date would be when the very first payment was processed in this example. You can make it more complex, but this is just an example. So we're going to use code by Zapier. And then you can do either JavaScript or Python. So we'll go to ChatGPT, and I like to use GPT-4, and we're also going to use advanced data analysis. So that is the model of GPT-4 that is used for coding, and we're going to prompt it. So hello, ChatGPT. I'm creating a custom coded action in Zapier that is triggered by a HubSpot deal reaching close won. I need JavaScript code to take the close date and populate it at and output it as payment one date. I then need you to use the number of future payments. What is it called? Number of payments. The number of payments workflow, payments property. This is input into the code to create payment output. Each subsequent output after payment date one should exactly 1 month from the last payment date. This means each date should fall on the same day in the month. The solution needs to be smart enough for the different days each month has and leap years. Okay. Hello, ChatGPT. I'm creating a custom coded action in Zapier, however you say it, that is triggered by a HubSpot deal reaching close won. I need JavaScript code to take the close date and output it as the payment one date. I then need you to use the number of payments property that is input into the code to create the remaining payment outputs. Each subsequent output after payment date one should be exactly 1 month from the last payment date. This means each date should fall on the same day in the month. This solution needs to be smart enough to account for the different days each month has and leap years. Enter. Cue ChatGPT. Let it do its thing. Cue the Jeopardy music. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's say I will input the number of payments, the property that is on the record that's going. I think it's trying to make a function. Okay. We're just going to try this. All right, so we're going to populate this into the action. And then we would grab the number of payments. And then you can, you need to test that step. Hold on. So really quick, one of the things you have to do is you have to have a record that meets that criteria. And I have not created my test records yet. So we're going to create the deal. All right, let's see. All right, disregarding all best practice, and we are just going to move this straight to closed one with no information. It's not even going to have, it doesn't matter. Okay. Straight to close one. The one thing it does need, which is not on the deal create form, is the number of payments. So we're going to do for this one 3. All right, so now if we test the trigger, okay, so this is the deal. We can continue with the selected record. And now number of payments can have a value. We will make that the number of payments, and then we are also going to input close date. Our close date. Again, here's one of the cool features generated with the AI. So you can do some code generation inside of this. You can continue. And then the final thing we're going to want to do, we're going to disregard testing that for now because we'll test it as part of this next step. We'll go back to HubSpot. And we're going to need to test this. Okay, I get this this error frequently. and like it usually takes me a couple times to get through it, but hold on. Okay, so we'll say I ran the original code that provided and to this before you need to explicitly define the exact output. Hopefully that context that I had like previously on this will help us get through that a little quicker. It should populate it up at the top. Maybe not. Okay. I don't think it achieved it because it did not explicitly state the hello world thing in here, but it did give us an output at the end. Does this one have an output at the end? Just a return output. Okay, we'll try it out. See if that helps. Okay, so now we have payment 1, 2, and 3. So then the final step is an event to update a deal. And that's another thing I like about the Zaps is that, like in HubSpot, a lot of this, like you have to do it through the API. Sometimes in Zap, you can get away with just doing it through the actual actions that they provide and doing like the calculations and manipulations of the data in a JavaScript code itself without having to actually do the API, which actually, that's really the part of it that makes it complex is when you're trying to get it to talk with the API. So we're going to use the deal ID from up at the very top, the trigger, and we are going to populate payment 1 through 3. And then if there were more, like you could do this all the way up to 5. You'd have to create more properties to store the values past 5, but you could do this, technically for like as many payment dates as you needed to. And then you would just test for those values, and then you would make sure that the test record that you provided was up to the maximum number that you wanted to be able to capture, so that you could have that logic set up to pass those values off into the payment dates. But we're going to do continue. We're not going to test this step. I guess we might have to skip test. So now we're going to see it in action. And I'm guessing this deal's close date was the 21st. No, it said it's the 20th. Might be because I'm really close to midnight that's causing that issue. But basically to see it in action, right? We're like right under the 20-minute mark. That's something that code would have taken me forever to figure out if I was trying to write that by myself. So this triggers very quickly after it moves into the closed one stage, and it will pass those values off almost instantaneously. So before it goes in there, and just to, I should have populated all 5 values. So close date set for the 30th. We'll make this number of payments. We'll set that as 3 again. If I had set it as 5 before, I could have showed you that you can change the value, and it'll the output will be variable depending on the value that you put here. Okay, now that it has the value of a 3, we can move it to closed one. Gotta love how slow your screen is when you're sharing it. Okay, close one. Scary how it doesn't make you save that one. It's like all the other properties, like you try to change the deal owner on me, you're gonna have to save it. You want to change the deal stage to close one, no confirmation needed. The record is now in closed one. I just did that to refresh it. Almost there. All right, so it has not run through the flow yet. Oh, well, that would help. You can tell it's midnight. All right. So we're going to do a little backtracking here. We're going to do page. Move this out of closed one. We're going to move it back into closed one. By the time it loads and then loads again, it should be updated. Nope. All right, I'm over here talking about instantaneous, and I'll show you something cool though. So all right, we go into your history, the Zap runs. That's where you can see when actual records go through the workflow. And if there's anything erroring, you would find that here. All right, let's just go check this. So the trigger is deal pipeline. Okay, it might be the default. So yeah, sales pipeline. Yeah, there's only one pipeline, so. All right, there it is. But while we're in here, I'll show you so you go into your Zap runs, you can go see that it was successful, but a lot of the times, if you're building something, it's not going to be successful the first time. And it's going to show you like on this JavaScript or on this here, it would have an error, and then it would provide like the AI that would allow you to give feedback from it on how to make an improvement to your code to fix the error. But let's wrap this up before the 30-minute mark, and we will view the properties. We will go. Yeah, so now we have payment date on the 21st of this month, next month, and then the month after that. So that would be how you could use just an example of OpenAI and ChatGPT to custom code a solution that allows you to populate dates in the future. So, I mean, there's a variety of use cases where that would be beneficial, from onboarding to just tracking milestones, project management. There, a lot of different use cases where you would want to be able to calculate like a future date with some additional logic built into it, right? Not just like I need to calculate this date, but I need to calculate it around these parameters. ChatGPT can take that context and can build a coded solution that's unique to your use case. The possibilities with ChatGPT are crazy, and I really want to show some of that capability and how you can use it through your different workflows that you're building in really unique ways. Hope this video was helpful, insightful, and providing more context about how you can use ChatGPT. Drop all your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate all the feedback and support, and I'll talk to you guys soon.